I don't want to say this, because it sort of reflects badly on my profession, is that there are some lawyers that think, well, that's how I'm going to make a living on doing probate.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Right.
Yeah. And of course, and our view on that is that, if probate if probate is necessary, and sometimes probate is necessary, if we have to do something maybe for asset protection, whether that's for a spouse or something else, maybe probate would be appropriate. But in most cases, we're going to try to set up our client's estate so that they can avoid probate. So, for instance, one of the things I've always said is the way property passes at death. One way it passes is by operation of law. So if you have, so let's say if you die without a will, and you have children and you have no spouse, then it goes to your children in equal shares. That's by operation of law. Or if you own property jointly with right of survivorship with somebody else, and you die first, then automatically that property, your joint owner becomes the owner of that asset. And that's typically the way married couple own property. Like, they own their house together as husband and wife.
Right.
So it passes by operation of law to them. And then there's by beneficiary designation, or by, like I say, by a contract. You have a contract with your life insurance company or a contract with your bank that says, when I die, I want it to be paid to my children or other beneficiaries, the beneficiary designation. And then the last way is like a written instruction, the ultima.
The shortest will ever written.
Yes, ultima. So you write it out in your own handwriting, and somebody finds it in your desk drawer, and it's like, oh, Tim says it's ultima.
So the act of contesting a will, how often does that happen, and how tough is it to do that?
Yeah, I wish I knew what the statistics were of contesting wills, and I really don't know that. Contesting wills is something that, what I've seen as far as will contest, people are coming in, or they don't come to us because we don't do will contest. I mean, that's not something that, that we're going to do. I mean, we don't. There are lawyers that do that. We don't. That's not really something that we will do. But what I have seen is what people have a lot of what people have contest about is personal property, is your stuff. And I've always said is that one of the things that people should do, because you mentioned earlier before the break, about some mistakes that people make. Another mistake that people make is not designating where they want personal property to go.
Right.
And the way that they should do that, in our opinion, is that they do it by what we call a written memorandum, which is essentially a piece of paper that it's all in your own handwriting, and you sign it and date it and say, I want the antique sewing machine that I inherited from my grandmother to go to this person. I want the paintings, the Norman Rockwell paintings or prints or whatever, to go to this person or whatever, and have all of that in writing, handwriting, and you sign it and date it, and that is a disposition of your estate.
Yeah. We
had a client that, in fact, we've got the will now that we're fixing to admit to probate within probably the next week or two, where the client had basically done, and we did not do the will, but this is a will that was brought to us and by the daughter, and it was typewritten, and it's got a bunch of cross outs and everything else on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you can tell that whoever, and you don't know who did that, for one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the immediate assumption is that, well, mom, that, okay, I guess mom changed her mind about doing this, and it's like, well, how do we know?
Right. I agree with that. How do you know?
How do you know? And okay, so let's say even if you saw her doing that, the court's not going to say, well, we think that's okay. Excuse me. But I think that, under those circumstances, you don't want to write on the will. I've always said also is that personal property is what we call ephemeral. It comes and goes.
Right.
If you put in your, let's say you go to the lawyer and you tell your lawyer, do you say, well, I want to do a will, and I want to leave the antique sewing machine to this person and my jewelry to this person or these particular items. Well, what's going to happen when that person passes away, and those items are not found?
Right. You all have always discouraged, don't make a laundry list of things. You discourage that.
We discourage that because, like I said, is inevitably, that person that was supposed to get the antique sewing machine says, well, where is it? And then somebody else in the family pipes up and says, oh, she gave that to me 3 years ago. I don't know why that's still in her will. Well, did she give it to her 3 years ago or not?
And one of the things that's important, is all right, property will pass, but a will is kind of a gift to those who will live on after you, right? To prevent some of the fighting that you might see. And talk about that. Why is it important then to do this? If it's going to pass anyway, the property is going to pass anyway, why do this?
Well, a lot of our clients, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Ben, because a lot of our clients come in and they're going, and we'll have that conversation, and it might be maybe the best gift that you can give to your children is peace of mind, and that you have a family that's family harmony.
Right.
So you have family harmony, and and one of the ways is to promote family harmony is that you have an appropriate estate plan, where it's well thought out, and you think about all of the stuff that maybe could go wrong. Like I said, is you start listing stuff in the will that, in a will that was, that's 15 years old. And that stuff may still exist or not, but nobody wants to go to the lawyer, and pay whatever the lawyer thinks that the lawyer should get because you sold that you gave away the old piano, but it's still listed in your will. Right.
Oh, brother.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a disaster.
The temptation is overwhelming, for that that person to say, well, I'll just cross it out, in my will, or say that it should go to somebody else, and as soon as you start doing that, then you invite the possibility of conflict in the family. All
right. I think, all right, so that kind of sets the table for wills. Yes. We'll take a break now. When we come back, what should we discuss next? What is it you think is the greatest invention?
The trust. Yeah, the greatest invention one of the greatest inventions of the human mind is a trust.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Talk about trust.
We'll talk about trust. When we'll take a break, come back, talk about trust. Why would you need one? Why are they the greatest invention, according to Tim Takacs? We will take a break. Come back right after this.